Scorpio, welcome back for your November reading. If you're wanting to make a booking, you can go to the link directly below. If you're wanting to also book some space in November, December, January, please do so, as it will fill up. And I am taking a little bit of time off over Christmas. However, I am doing emergency readings during a 1 week period that I'm having off. That's for email bookings and Skype bookings, so you're still able to email me and I can directly book you in myself from my end. Now, a lot of energy that we've been dealing with this year has directly been connected to healing old blocks, and that's really been coming up for every zodiac sign. Anything connected to friendships, home, emotions, relationships has really been a very heavy energy connected to everyone's life path. And the reason this has come up is so that we can get to a place where we're physically turning that cup upside down and filling it up with what directly connects to us vibrationally. It has been a very emotional year, very frustrating at times, and sometimes resembling last year. The energy is going to get slightly heavier depending on the amount of work you've actually done directly connected to your life. And that's as we move through to January. It's going to get heavier as it goes. But it doesn't have to be a bad heavy. It can be a positive heavy in a sense of things cropping up, dealing with the energy directly, and then shifting it to the side like you've dealt with it. Had enough, it's done, I'm happy. So it depends on if you've done work and what the triggers are going to be directly for you personally. Now, house is coming up into highlight yet again. That did come up last month for everybody. Something related to house and something related to the way in which you were living or people who were going to live with you or move out. This is coming up again this month. And it's almost like the whole warning signs I've mentioned before in other videos that the universe gives us a test. So it can be you feel a scenario or something playing out around you, and it's like a warning sign, and you think, oh, no, it should be okay, it should be fine. And then another comes through in a sense of a trigger point or an example factor, and you think, gosh, that was a close call. I really should do something about that. And then still, if nothing is done, the universe forces your hand. So I feel the scenario as such was a decision that needed to be made connected to home. Now, this could be further back or further forward, directly connected to how you have worked with the energy. With this trigger, I may leave those. I won't use that deck. With this trigger, you're going to have this come up again, and this is going to be a small trigger connected to home for you to have a complete yes or no situation. Now, this yes or no is connected to, okay, I had the epiphany, I had the example, and either way it would have worked in some shape or form where you directly used your energy or your hand was physically forced connected to house. However house is going on for you, what directly the energy will be. Now, in this scenario, it's going to come up again, but it's more from an assessment basis of, okay, now that the pressure is off the situation, did you choose the correct road? Now, that's not to say it is the wrong or the right road. It's more, this is what your mind's going to be doing. So it might be that you're psychoanalyzing a scenario connected to home. I'm getting all paranoid because I can see dust in my hair. I mowed the lawn and I get hay fever. Back to the reading. So you're going to be looking at the situation. You're going to be saying, okay, I made the decision at that point. It was directly relevant at that point in time. Or my hand was forced at that point in time. I directly dealt with the energy, and that's what it is. Now you're stepping back and you're observing and you're saying, am I okay with this? does this work for me? Is it okay for the way my future is moving and what I think is physically correct? So you're going to be psychoanalyzing an aspect of home. Also, you're going to be triggered to use your vibration connected to your communication, because November is quite a heavy energy, but it's more to bring up trigger points connected to you for you to speak your truth in a different way you've done it before. So it's like you're going back to the table, communicating something directly connected to the past, but in a different way to what you've done it before, from a safer point of view. Okay, the people around you, in a way, are family, but they feel very different. They don't feel who they were yesterday. They feel as though, even though the connection might have been from the point of view of you've known them for a very long time, you vibrationally have changed. They have as well, but not to the point it's ridiculous. So it more feels that it's you who's physically changed, even though they've stayed the same. You don't know where this has come from, this light bulb moment you're having, and you don't know how to directly connect the dots, connected to what this is going to look like for you. You accept them for who they are, you accept the past for what it is, but you just don't understand how you got to this road and how long it's taken to get to this road and where to go from here. It feels like the sort of energy that is very much up in your head, thinking about it and wondering. You're almost like a fly on the wall. You're being very observant, but very shocked. It feels very shocked by the energy. In your money section, you've actually become aware that you have always had the power and the creativity to bring about cash, money, forward movement, stability. So that is not your bother at the moment, and that vibration's changed for you. So you know you have the power connected to this, and you're very okay with that. But you're also connected to money, being very honest, and you're speaking your truth connected to who you give it to, why you give it, how you're using it. But you've reserved it might even be that you've reserved the right to communicate this, but you're going to be forced to communicate it and do it in a loving way. Now, in your general life, children are going to come up and highlight. Now, it can be that you're cross at their behaviour, or it could be that you are placing an opinion connected to them of who they are, but maybe they're not who you think they are. Maybe it's all but a process where they're not who they were before, which has come up in your general section, in your family. Yes, they are that old person, but they have changed. So even if you do have an opinion of what they are and how they look, they're becoming different to a point. It's almost like you don't know them, but you do. But your opinions are shaping an aspect, in a sense. Our opinions about our children can influence their behaviour. So be cautious connected to the way in which you're communicating with them, because it can be a trigger that's coming up this month. Be careful, again, what you're putting out directly connected to your general life, because your vibrations are going to bring triggers to you. If you have fear-based scenarios going on in your mind, you're going to directly trigger them into your life. If you're directly dealing with those energies and you're thinking, shut it down, no, I do not wish to manifest the aspect, yes, I acknowledge it as a fear or a block, and then release it, the energy won't be as heavy. Let's see what's going on for couples. I almost feel as though for singles and couples, you're feeling that something is going to happen. You're like, oh gosh, what's going to happen now? Feels like quite a, oh, here we go sort of a notion. And yes, your intuition is strong, but try not to tap into that energy, because you're going to co-create it, and you really don't want that to happen. You've got to really ground yourself and get your mind focused on other things other than what's blocking you, or what your opinion is that may block you. Because it's all in the mind. Your partner's coming across and coming through is very romantic in the month of November. I do feel as though they've got some plans for you and some surprises in store. And they're a bit more open and honest, although you do know in the past something has really triggered you to a point where you're feeling a bit reserved, but their energy feels very light, very loving and warm. You need to balance things more, because they're quite open and loving, and you're actually balancing quite a bit. So you're going back into an old energy of the way you used to do things, and you've got to pull yourself back, because you're not going to have that renewal. And there is possibility for renewal in a sense of doing something in a different way so that you can get a different outcome connected to your love life. You feel like you're really focused on work, and it's affecting your sleep, or it's making you tired where you need to sleep quite a bit. But you're trying to cram things in. It's like you're saving for something by the end of the year. Okay, your partner is very grounded, connected to where they are with you, and they very much want to be with you. Things aren't moving as fast as you'd like, and that is your personal frustration. But, you know, this could be an anniversary coming up for you guys, or it could be that the love is just deepening to the next level for you physically. Your partner is still enjoying luxuries, and you're enjoying your friendships, the ones you have around you now and who you are today. So it feels like a light energy, but it feels almost like you're quite accepting of each other living in your own worlds together, but very separate in a sense of your own pleasure time. It's quite a balanced relationship, although you're feeling tired and you're making big plans. And you're talking to your loved ones and your close friends connected to the nice things that are happening in your love life. Okay, you're giving this scenario a chance in your relationship. Your partner's very optimistic connected to this, but you're really, you've got control-related aspects coming up where you feel you got too much on your shoulder. It's a mirage. It's life in general. Go with the flow with it and try to not, you know, get into that vibration of feeling too much is getting on your plate. If you're getting to this energy level, you needed to communicate. So you need to communicate that before you blow, because everything else on the 3D and on the 5D, physically speaking, is looking really good. It's more an aspect of a communication and a frustration you're physically getting into due to fatigue. Singles. I can see people coming towards your circle, and you're wondering where all these people are coming out of the woodworks. You have one person in mind that you physically are very connected, attracted, and drawn to. Now, there are other people coming out of the woodworks, and you're thinking, why is this happening? Why are these people coming to me? You've very much got your eye on one person in particular, but all of a sudden you kind of feel weird, like these people are coming towards you, and you're wondering why on earth they're coming towards you when clearly you're showing no interest. So it's actually frustrating you. Okay. You are working on your life, and you do work with others in a sense of working together. Now, this person who you are connected to on an emotional level or an attraction level, you know, you guys would work very well together. So you can see the potential in this situation. But something directly connected to pride or nervous energy is where the physical block is. So if you can work on that and look at your situation in dealing with this scenario from a different perspective, you're going to get a better outcome. So it could be that this person's very shy, and the way you have been handling this has been an incorrect way. So to tackle it from a different avenue, you're going to have a better outcome. It is going to cause you a little bit of stress, but you're going to have to be brave, because it almost feels like a role reversal. So be it you are usually very assertive, and you know, you're going to have to change your energy up. It's a bit like tuning the channel, and it's not that vibrationally speaking, you know, you guys won't work fantastically. It's just to get it off the ground to a point where you've got that communication, you've got the flow of energies between the two of you. So it feels you're going to have to be a little bit brave, or that they're going to have to be that in order to get it off the ground. But it feels like you've taken a different, fresh way of doing something, but you were too worried about what people would say if you were acting in this manner. But that's what's blocking the both of you. People do think that they know better, and maybe you did think that you knew better, but obviously this new scenario and way of addressing the situation is going to be what's going to work the best. But it's because you were unsure about how they felt about you, that you were unwilling to actually deal with it in a certain way. But they're being quite balanced, and it can be that they're going to make a decision directly connected to how they feel about you in the month of November. It might be that something changed last month, and from here it feels like there's a more open sense of communication with this person. So this person could be in your social scene. And I feel eye contact being made and ice broken, I'm heard. Oh, I'm heard. I hear. Okay, they're very much processing. Okay, for them, they're not quite sure if you are their soulmate. They are, but they're not. They're like, are you? And yet they are feeling balanced. They're drawn to you in some shape or form, but they're just not knowing whether you are or are not their soulmate. They do feel you could be the one, and they are noticing that they actually have direct chemistry with you. For you, where you've been unwilling and unsure, it is moving very soon. There is movement, and it's actually making you more nervous than when it wasn't moving, which I think is quite sweet and amusing, because you're very assertive, really, to the core. Okay, you are having to get to know each other all over again, and that's where the nervous energy is coming from. It's because you've taken that step and suddenly the door's open and you're going, oh, what's it going to look like now? And new love's coming. Congratulations, guys. Tell me how this relates. If you don't know how to deal with it and you do need support, you can book a reading. Otherwise, break a leg and I'll talk to you next month. Bye.